The killing of the Pakistan Taliban leader Mullah Masood was just the latest incident in which American unmanned drone aircraft have been used against targets in the Middle East. But the weapons often cause collateral damage, both in terms of loss of life and diplomatic relations. Now, Jemima Khan, the former wife of the Pakistan politician Imran Khan, has produced a new film looking at the use of drones. We'll be talking to her in a moment. But first, a little of the background. America's unmanned drones, an essential tool against terrorism or a death sentence without trial. For 10 years, the CIA's program has silently surveyed the hills of Pakistan, Afghanistan and Yemen, looking for a hidden enemy. Their target, militants and associates of al-Qaeda and the Taliban. It's thought over 2,500 have been targeted to date. Most recently was Mullah Masood, leader of the Pakistani Taliban, killed on Friday. Islamabad and Kabul say they're furious about his death, accusing Washington of scuttling peace efforts.
Dozens of highly skilled al-Qaeda commanders, trainers, bomb makers and operatives have been taken off the battlefield.
Drones rather than boots on the ground are Barack Obama's weapon of choice. Strikes under his watch have dramatically increased.
We only target al-Qaeda and its associated forces.
But despite those reassurances, civilians do find themselves in the firing line. A recent report by Amnesty says around 900 have been killed, including Momina Bibi. Last week, her grandchildren and son, Rafiq-ur-Rahman, became the first victims to testify in the United States before a congressional committee.
How can I in good faith reassure the children that the drone will not come back and kill them too, if I do not understand why it killed my mother and injured my children?
The vast majority of those killed in drone strikes, over 98%, have not been high-value targets.
The family from Waziristan also feature in a new documentary investigating flaws in the drone program and the human impact not seen from the control rooms of Virginia. But there are some unlikely supporters, also from Waziristan. They insist Pakistan's efforts to eradicate militants have done far more harm than the CIA's drones.
The Pakistani military has gone into the tribal areas. What we see is, for example, it went in October 2009 into South Waziristan, and hundreds of thousands of people were displaced. Currently, around 758,000 people are living in camps, which have been displaced from various areas. The reason was the military operations. But not a single Taliban commander has been killed by the military. All of them, starting from Baitullah Masood in 2009, Qari Hussain, Ilyas Kashmiri, Badr Mansoor, and now Waliur Rahman and then Hakimullah, all of them have been taken out by the drones.
As the Taliban and al-Qaeda replenish their ranks, there'll be no shortage of targets in difficult places and no shortage of questions over drones and their legality. Well, we're joined now by the film's executive producer, Jemima Khan. And I'm wondering what you make of the argument that actually to have the Pakistani army, as that witness talking to us from America said, going in and smashing up a village, killing very large numbers of people in order to take out one man, is that really any better than having a drone?
No, but I think it's a false choice. Why do those have to be the only options?
Well, I mean, there is an insurgency which both the Pakistani government, some of the local people themselves, and indeed the Western powers believe is a risk to humanity.
So you take out Mullah Masood, who was killed last week, and I don't think anyone's arguing that he's not going to be replaced within 24 hours by any number of keen leaders, future leaders of the Pakistan Taliban. And in the process, when innocent children and innocent victims are killed, and at the current count, according to the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, there's 178 children killed as a result of drone strikes, you enrage a vast swathe of the population.
The difficulty surely is that one has to be realistic. There is bound to be war. And if you widen it out, the fact is that the drone, is it really any worse than, let's say, a very high-altitude bomber that never sees its target, but again uses the same technology and presses a button and fires a bomb?
Well, for a start, I think this is a false choice. And I think that we are being sold a myth that drones are precision weapons. Although we don't hear that very often, because the official figures, there are no official figures coming out of America.
Sounded a bit precise when they got Mr. Hagmuller.
And between 2,500 and 3,600 people have been killed as a result of drone strikes. So they've got Betul al-Masud and Hakim al-Masud. But what about the vast numbers, hundreds if not thousands of people who have been innocently targeted, all featured in this film? And according to...
Hang on a minute.
I'm not going to be as combative with my brother, but I do want to just say...
Or Russell Brand, for that matter. But listen, surely...
No, but hold on.
Yeah.
The official figures say, according to the Pakistani government and American figures, that no innocent civilians have been killed. That directly conflicts with the testimony in front of Congress last week by a 6-year-old child who saw her grandmother killed, and a family, the relations of a 16-year-old boy who I met, who was also killed. There is a really significant issue here, though. That is that a lot of the people who live in Waziristan really resent these people, these militants, and are very pleased to see them taken out. And actually, again, as that testimony suggests, and this is a choice. This is a choice because they want them taken out. And the choice is, do you have a drone which usually forensically manages to take the individual out, but indeed there is collateral, or an army that goes in there and simply lays the place waste and displaces 750,000 people? Personally, I would like to see the militants held to account, and also, obviously, those who've perpetrated war crimes.
But you're sounding like a pacifist.
The Amnesty International... No. The Amnesty, I think it's a counterproductive policy, but the Amnesty International report says that war crimes have been committed. So those who've perpetrated those war crimes need to be held accountable.
Well, in which case...
But equally,
are you saying that Obama himself is, in a sense, a war criminal?
He's a Nobel Peace Prize winning president who has launched 326 drone strikes on a population, on a country that he's not at war with. I mean, that's problematic for me. I mean, he campaigned on the basis of closing down Guantanamo, which was all about detention without trial, and now he's been using a policy of assassination without trial, which I see as even worse.
Jemima Khan, thank you very much for coming in.